This is FYI News 13, brought to you by SSPTV and the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
I will never, in this state of the city, ever request from City Council that I be allowed to hire a part-time officer.
For your information, Hazleton's police chief dishes out strong words after City Council passes a 2015 budget. Welcome to FYI. I'm Ken Carr. We begin with some headlines from FYI News 13 and the Hazleton Standard Speaker. Hazleton Mayor Joe Iannuzzi has vetoed the city's 2015 budget recently passed by council, and now council must decide whether or not to override his veto. Council is set to meet tonight at 7 p.m. Council President Jack Mundy says he thought council's budget was a good budget. 4 votes are needed to override the veto. Earlier today, FYI's Lisa Sugar talked with Hazleton Police Chief Frank D'Andrea about the city's budget status. We asked what impact, if any, the lack of a budget could have on the police department.
The police department by law is not allowed to strike. And even if the city shuts down, you can't shut down police, fire, I believe highway. You've got to keep those services going. There have been a couple of different individuals and or one local bank that has informed me they'll provide zero interest loans to any police officer in the city of Hazleton so that we could come to work with a clear mind knowing that we're going to be able to pay our bills and we would simply pay the money back at the end. My hat is off to that individual. But the big thing is, what I'm hoping is rather quickly, whatever the impasse it is, we get past that so that my police officers are all able to keep their heads in the game. And they're not going to worry about where the next paycheck is coming from, or is a paycheck coming at all.
The budget that council passed, the mayor vetoed, included money for part-time police officers. The chief made it very clear where he stands on that issue.
I will never, in this state of the city, ever request from City Council that I be allowed to hire a part-time officer. Not because part-time officers would not be nice, but that's exactly what they are. Part-time officers are a would-be nice, not a have-to-have. And right now, with the Hazleton Police Department functioning with less cops today than we had in 2007, and with the Hazleton Police Department in 2014 handling more calls for service than ever before in the history of HPD, over 30,000 calls for service. There is no possible way that part-time officers can solve the full-time crime problem.
I'm going to ask you to explain that because you just explained it to me before we went on the air with this. People sitting at home may think, why can't you use part-time police officers? There's a reason behind it. You need to tell the people what that is.
I would have liked the opportunity to also share my views with City Council before they gave me the money that I can't use. That didn't happen. What I'm hoping is that I can explain to everyone and perhaps be allowed to use the money where it would serve the best purpose. If your house is burglarized, you're victimized, and you are violated, you don't even want to be in your house because you fear that it could happen again, and everything that you cherish and your safety has been violated. You call HPD, call 911, and part-time officer Hazleton shows up looking great in his or her uniform, takes a phenomenal report, asks all the right questions, and this is Monday at 7 a.m. And through the course of the investigation, the officer says to you, well, great, I have everything I need right now. My shift's about to end. Next Thursday, when I come back to work, I'll follow up. Your jaw drops, you're ready to cry, you're infuriated. The city just spent over $100,000 for more police service and now I'm getting less. What do you mean next Thursday? And you're like, well, I'm a part-time officer. I don't work for 7 or 8 more days. I'm not back to work till next Thursday.
And no one else takes over that case.
Of course not. because that's not how it's done in policing. You handle your own follow-up investigations unless it raises to the level where it's going to go from the patrol section to the criminal detective division. Burglary is not the case. So you're sitting there thinking, wait a minute, even if the pawn shops follow the laws, my grandmother's heirlooms are going to be legally melted down before this officer even comes back to work and is able to do a follow-up.
Another problem he sees is with the scheduling of part-time officers. He cited an example where 3 officers are scheduled for a shift, 2 part-time and 1 full-time.
That morning, before the 3 to 11, 3 o'clock in the afternoon shift, I get a call from a part-time police officer who's scheduled to work and says, "Chief, sorry to do this to you, but I just caught an overtime shift with my full-time job. That's $600. I can't turn it down. I won't be in to work today." Well, I can't discipline a part-time officer because what am I going to say? You're not coming into work? I can't give them time off. They're not full-time employees. So now I have to pay overtime to fill the shift because I scheduled it with a part-time officer. Next idea. The fact of the matter is that the city police department has a very rigorous training procedure. It doesn't matter if you were a cop somewhere before, you are going to go through our field training program. That is almost 6 months of you riding with someone else and changing coaches 3 times. That's 6 months if you're a full-time officer. If I cut your hours in half, because you can't work more than 29 hours legally, which means I'll schedule you maybe 20 hours a week, I've now taken 6 months of training and stretched it over 1 year before you are trained well enough to do things on your own in the city of Hazleton. So I'm going to take that 1 year and I'm going to train part-time officers. And after that year, so for this first year, I have no extra officers on the street. After that year, most part-time officers are in this for one thing and one thing only, a full-time job with benefits. So they'll thank me as they accept a full-time job somewhere else, and I have to start all over again. And the public has yet to see an increase in policing because I'm still training these part-time officers. If I'm capable of finally being asked from someone from City Council, what would I like to see be done with this $100,000 that they found for extra police? Hire a full-time officer.
Chief DeAndrea will also be a guest on Sam LaSanne Show, which will air 7:30 and 9 p.m. this evening right here on SSPTV. Hazleton police are investigating a home invasion. It happened Monday night around 7:30 p.m. in the area of the 200 block of South Bennett Court. According to police, 2 men wearing masks and carrying handguns forced their way into the home. The victim fled to a bedroom and both suspects fled the residence. Police say one suspect was described as light-skinned and the other as dark-skinned. Both wore dark clothing and masks. Anyone with any information is asked to call Hazleton Police by dialing 911. Your elected representatives at the state and national level were sworn in today. Swearing-in ceremonies were held all over the country. This is video from the Capitol in Harrisburg. State Representative for the 116th District, Tara Toohill, was sworn in for her 3rd term. Matt Cartwright, also a state representative, is back for a 2nd term in the 17th District. State Senator John Udijak began his 2nd term in the state Senate, and United States Congressman Lou Barletta took the oath for his 3rd term in Washington, D.C. to represent the 11th Congressional District in Pennsylvania. 2 Pennsylvania hospitals have been designated as Ebola treatment centers by the State Department of Health and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Penn State Milton S. Hershey Medical Center and the Lehigh Valley Hospital Muhlenberg became the 3rd and 4th Ebola treatment centers in the state. The other 2, the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia and the Hospital of the University of Pennsylvania, were announced in December. The release also says the Department of Health is focused on having every hospital in the Commonwealth prepared to isolate and treat an Ebola patient. Well, before we break, a quick FYI, Route 309 between Wilkes-Barre and Mountaintop will be reopened this evening. The rock cut work is complete and traffic patterns will be back to normal. In the spring, work will continue on an earth seam but will not affect the travel lanes. When we come right back, I'll give you our local forecast. And tonight on the Sportscast, we'll tell you how the Tamaqua boys basketball team did against a rival that's ranked in the top 10 in the state.
This is FYI News 13, brought to you by SSPTV and the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
We're back here at Eagle Rock Resort, and we're talking with children and young adults about fostering and adoption. If you're out there and you think you might be a suitable person to foster a child or possibly adopt, then we can answer some of your questions. And what better way than to talk with people who have gone through Luzerne County Children and Youth Program. And Amanda, thank you so much for being brave and coming up and talking about, your personal story. I know sometimes it's not that easy to do, but it's really helping those who need some questions answered that they have about fostering or about adoption. So thank you so much for being with us.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be here.
Good. So you've been through the foster care program over the years.
Yes.
Okay.
And it was great to have people to care and help to try and find a good home for me, and when I had nobody, and I think it would really help to have more to help others and to really reach out to them, because we feel like we're alone in the world. So
Right. Well, you're not alone. You always have a friend or anyone here in Luzerne County program to help you out. But I know that you've been through, a couple of years of the fostering program. If someone out there is sitting and listening to this interview and thinks, maybe I would make a good foster parent, what is someone you think who would make a good role model to foster someone like yourself or a child?
someone who would want to talk to me and hear what I like to do, and try to work together to do each other, be a friend to me, and reach and care for me and make sure I'm safe, and just know you're not gonna leave, and someone I can trust and be loyal to, and
So that's some of the characteristics, someone who's loyal, someone that could be there for you, like a best friend, or, a godmother, a godfather, someone like that.
yes.
Okay, and right now you're living on your own.
Yeah. Well, we have an RA that makes sure we come home on curfew, and that we're not doing drugs or anything. So, but other than that, we live on our own. We maintain a job, and we go to school.
What do you think is something that you've learned through going through the system?
To be independent, because I felt like I had nobody, and I was always afraid to reach out to somebody. So, yeah, I mean, my instincts came in, and I learned to just only rely on myself. And
How are you helping others now that you live with?
well, because I've seen and I've been through there, so I try to tell them you really probably shouldn't do that. I know what I went through when I did that, and to try and help them and persuade them of their worst scenario that could happen, and it would be way worse, or to succeed and keep going and don't give up.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Again, we're educating you here on FYI about the foster program and the adoption program of Luzerne County Children and Youth.
Time now for FYI News 13 weather.
If you're Elsa, you're going to love this forecast. If you're the rest of Arundel, you may be unhappy. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, wait until after FYI and stream Disney's Frozen. Here's our local forecast from the National Weather Service. Tonight, a slight chance of light snow before 7 p.m., then a slight chance of snow showers after 4 a.m., mostly cloudy. Our low will be around 9 degrees, but will feel like -5 with the wind chill, and it's going to stay chilly on the extended forecast. Wednesday, a chance of snow showers, mostly cloudy. High near 12, but it will feel like -11. Wind gusts as high as 36 miles per hour. Little or no snow accumulation is expected. On Wednesday night, partly cloudy. The low will be -1, but get this, it will feel as cold as -21. Wind gusts as high as 32 miles per hour. On Thursday, the sun comes back. Our high will be 14 degrees. Thursday night gets cold once again. I guess it's cold during the day as well, but the low will be 10 degrees. Friday, we're up a little bit on the thermometer, mostly cloudy, a high of 24 at night, down to 8. Saturday will be mostly sunny with a high of 19, and then Saturday night, mostly cloudy with a low of 14. Our weather is brought to you by the Pines Eatery and Spirits on Broad Street in downtown Hazleton, and they are trying to warm you up today with a loaded baked potato soup. Plus, this Friday, stop by for live entertainment as Double Shot Duo performs from 6 to 10 p.m. All right, let's check out your midday winning Pennsylvania lottery numbers. The Daily 990, the Big 4 3006, Quinto 40690, and Treasure Hunt 4614 1923. Local basketball highlights when we come back.
This is FYI News 13 Sports.
The weather has postponed at least one local sporting event. The Marion Catholic girls basketball game against Nativity at home, scheduled for Tuesday, has been postponed. So yesterday when I was laying out the big games of the week, I left out a big one, and I'll blame it on a case of the Mondays. I felt really bad, so I got some highlights of the Tamaqua boys basketball team hosting Pottsville area. The Blue Raiders and Crimson Tide came into the game 3-0 in Schuylkill League play. Tamaqua had one loss overall, and Pottsville was undefeated and ranked in the top 10 in the state. Tamaqua hung around all game, but the Tide pulled away late for a 57-40 victory. Let's learn more about the plot from last night's Schuylkill League showdown. Tamaqua area head coach Casey Koschulik says his team doesn't usually play zone defense, but they felt that was their best chance against the talented Pottsville team. The Blue Raiders defense was impressive, and it tested a state-ranked opponent.
I'm happy we're shooting the ball a little bit better. I wish we could have attacked the zone a little bit better at times, but I also give them a lot of credit. Their zone was tough. They were covering our shooters, and they did a great job.
So when a zone is making you feel strange in a different neighborhood, who you gonna call? Travis Blankenhorn, zone buster. The Crimson Tide hit some big threes, and Blankenhorn had some impressive drives, scoring 22 of his game-high 30 points in the first half, helping his team to a 12-point halftime lead.
Travis is extraordinary. I mean, he's a great player. He's unselfish. Tonight we needed him. They were in a zone. They weren't doing anything specifically to take him away, and we needed him to get shots and make shots, and not only shooting from the perimeter, but he was attacking the basket and also guarding Brett Koschulik, their best player. So he didn't get many times out of the game. He did a phenomenal job on both ends.
The Blue Raiders clamped down on D in the second half. Sticking with the zone, they limited Pottsville to 7 points in the third quarter and were able to get the Pottsville lead down to single digits in the fourth quarter before a late run by the Tide put the game away.
I thought we did well defensively. One of the things I was really proud of is I thought we gang rebounded. I thought we rebounded well on the defensive side. They didn't get many second shots, and that was really important. Our guards came down, helped us rebound, so that was critical to us playing as well as we did tonight. You know, believe it or not, we were happy with our performance today. You know, we were right there in the second half. I think we limited them to 2 points probably the first 6 minutes into the third quarter. But what we failed to do is we failed to execute our offense. You know, we didn't get multiple passes of possession in order to get a high percentage shot. You know, that was one thing where we sputtered a little bit.
Here's our top two plays of the night from Tamaqua. Bo Rotette's middle name is Danger, and Bo Danger Rotette throws caution to the wind and wins a turnover for the Raiders. On the other end of the floor, fellow senior Tyler Skripko makes sure it was worth the risk for Rotette. Our top play is from Brett Koschulik, who matter-of-factly slams the ball home and fires up Raider Nation over in the student section. Another top performer for Tamaqua was Russell Blaker, who had 3 threes for the Blue Raiders and caught his coach's eye.
One of the kids I was really proud with today was Russell Blaker. Russell Blaker played big against the best team that we're going to face all year, and he shot the ball with confidence. And it was a game, I think, where he really grew up for us.
Coach Koschulik says this big game will have his team ready for the last 3 games of the first half of their season. We have a few other Schuylkill League scores for you on the FYI Standard Speaker scoreboard. Monomoy area, they beat rival Shenandoah Valley, and that win moves the Bears to 3-0 in Schuylkill League play. The Marion boys, they fell to 1-3 in the league with a loss to Nativity. The Spartans of North Schuylkill climbed back to 500 in the Schuylkill League and 7-2 overall with a win over Lehighton. The Hazelton area girls went on the road for their first Wyoming Valley Conference game and won big at Wyoming Valley West. The Big HA, the boys team, they will play at home against Wyoming Valley West on Tuesday and then go to Crestwood on Thursday, and that's a big rivalry game in Mountaintop. And you can get your advance tickets at the Hazelton Area High School on Tuesday and Wednesday from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. at the school's main entrance and from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the McGeehan Gymnasium box office window. Happy Wing Night! It's Wing Night at Bottlenecks. Get $2 off your order of wings or all-you-can-eat wings and boneless wings for only $14.95. Bottlenecks wings are voted best wings in the area year after year.
Good evening, everyone, and here's tonight's Talk of the Town report. One announcement: the Nescopeck State Park is announcing that beginning January 6th and running through the end of February, snowshoes and cross-country skis will be available to borrow free of charge under the following conditions. Be given out Monday through Saturday, 8:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Snow conditions must be acceptable, and a valid Pennsylvania's driver's license must be provided. For more information, please call 570-403-2006. That's tonight's Talk of the Town. News 13 would like to send sincere condolences to the family and friends of these recently departed. Kathleen E. Antolic Baker of Mountain Grove. Memorial is Saturday at 11 a.m. at the Mountain Grove Lutheran Church. Friends may call Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. The Reverend Thomas Anthony Yadzik, formerly of Nanticoke. Mass is Thursday at 11 a.m. at the Most Holy Trinity Church. Viewing is Wednesday from 5 to 7 p.m. in the church. Teresa R. Aiello of Hazel Township. Service is Thursday at 8 p.m. in the Frank J. Bonin Funeral Home. Friends may call Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. Mary Batchison, formerly of Hazelton. Funeral is Saturday at 10 a.m. from the Frank J. Bonin Funeral Home. Friends may call Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. Thomas J. Pensock of Sugarloaf. Mass is Thursday at 10 a.m. in the St. John Bosco Roman Catholic Church. Friends may call Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. Arrangements are under the direction of the John J. Pustai Funeral Home. Thomas Hawk Jr. of Hazelton. Private service will be held in the Mountain View Cemetery. The Rosenstock Funeral Home is assisting the family with the arrangements. Michelle Belushko of McAdoo. Funeral services will be held at the convenience of the family and under the direction of the Stanley E. Anilowski Funeral Home. Elizabeth Betty Courier, formerly of Hazelton. Funeral procession will start Thursday at 9:30 a.m. from the Hazel Chapel of the Crofton Hughes Funeral Home. Mass is Thursday at 10 a.m. in the Hazelton Trinity Lutheran Church. Friends may call at the funeral home Wednesday from 7 to 9 p.m. And Jennifer Cassat of Hamburg Center. Burial will be held March 21st in the Mount Laurel Memorial Park in Hazelton.
If you're interested in full recaps of all the basketball games we talked about during sports, make sure you get the Standard Speaker. You will need Tuesday's edition or go to standardspeaker.com. Also check out their website for breaking news and our website at ssptv.com. That's it for tonight. Take it easy, everyone.